Bonjour à tous, je vous invite à écouter l'extrait de l'épisode que je vais publier dimanche. C'est un petit aperçu de la discussion que j'ai menée avec mon invité qui est, je ne vous le cache pas, absolument passionnante. Bonne écoute et à dimanche pour entendre l'intégralité de l'épisode.
Welcome to Finscale, a podcast created by Solène Niederkorn, shedding light on innovation in finance, banking, and insurance.
From SME financing to lending as a service. Patrick Stäuble, CEO and founder of Teylor.
We were sharing an office with 3 other startups, and it was this old and kind of a not too nice area of town, this apartment that we could barely afford, and there were 3 startups working from this apartment with no space whatsoever. So me and Andre, what we would do is we would lock ourselves into the bathroom one at a time and sit in the bathtub and do cold calls. And that's where we got, the first couple of customers, and it just grew from there.
Lending is one of the major pain points in finance, both from the perspective of lenders and borrowers. I have been following Teylor for a while, and it was high time for me to have a discussion with its CEO, Patrick. Starting as a solution to lending SMEs in Germany, Teylor cleverly diversified by developing a lending-as-a-service solution and a feature-rich SaaS platform for banks. Teylor aims to support SMEs while helping financial institutions streamline their lending operations. We also talked with Patrick about the financing aspect and the reason that led this Switzerland-based startup to structure itself around a securitization vehicle in Luxembourg, enabling various types of lenders to participate in the financing process, junior, senior, and mezzanine tranche. This approach has allowed them to handle substantial volumes and rapidly expand their business. It's an episode I thoroughly enjoy, combining technicality and European structuring. Enjoy the show! Hello, everyone. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, great to see you again.
Yeah, really happy that you accepted my invitation to talk about Teylor on Finscale. And a big thank you to Manon because she introduced you to me quite a while ago. So I just wanted to say hi to her. Can you please introduce yourself before we start?
Sure, absolutely. Also from my side, big thanks to Manon and to you. Great to be here today. So I'm Patrick. I'm the founder and the CEO of Teylor, Swiss originally, but spent a lot of my life living and working outside of Switzerland. Studied originally economics at the University of Zurich, and then spent some time doing peacekeeping missions for the Swiss military. And in the last 10 or so years, I've always been working in the banking, fintech, credit, startup space, and focused since a few years now fully on Teylor.
Great. I decided to concentrate on 2 things. First, of course, understand what you do at Teylor, but then investigate why you chose to create a securitization vehicles, but also the relationship you have with the financial institutions because you offered lending as a service for financial institutions. So I was interested to understand a bit more in details your B2B offering. But then maybe you could start by explaining to us how and why you decided to create Teylor.
Sure, absolutely. So before starting Teylor, I'd been working for a couple of years in the kind of B2C retail lending space at another fintech. And in that time, that was kind of 2013, 2014, up to about 2017, when there were so many really exciting kind of B2C retail lending startups coming to the market. And I had this feeling in my stomach that I was missing, or that I had missed this giant wave of fintech digitization and fintech startups. But the more that I was kind of active in that space, I realized, okay, there's a lot happening for private customers. But if you look at the kind of small business segment, it's still, maybe 5 or 10 years behind where we are, where many other countries are, but certainly behind also in Europe, where we are in the retail B2C space. So I started looking more and more into this industry and kind of realized that in the majority of European countries, if you are a small business and you walk into the bank branch and you ask for a loan of, let's say 300,000 euros, on the one hand, it's going to be an extremely painful, paper-based, slow process taking many weeks and many months. Mm-hmm. But on the other side, also that, the majority of banks also haven't figured out this problem. So a funny kind of statistics that I found at the time, or that is still valid now, is that the average bank in Germany has a negative 3% return on equity for small business loans. Mm-hmm. So I saw it was a huge industry. The borrowers were, really not being served very well. The lenders were not doing a great job of it. And that's kind of where the idea for Teylor came from. And fundamentally on day one, myself and my CTO, Josh, we basically just asked ourselves the question, if we kind of took this credit life cycle of an SME loan and looked at the way that the banks do it, threw this completely out the window and tried to rebuild it from scratch, what would that look like? And we built that, and that's kind of where we started on this journey.
Great. And how did you recruit your first clients?
So we actually went to market originally just as an alternative lender, which is our biggest kind of market, still today our biggest revenue source, where we give loans to small businesses, not on our own balance sheet, but with private debt investors, with banks that we work with. There, the first couple of borrowers that we found were kind of from two channels. So channel number one, I started writing different kind of credit brokers and stuff on LinkedIn, and they would refer us customers. And the other channel was that me and Andre, who is today our chief commercial officer, we literally went to Google, started looking for companies, and started cold calling them. So in our old office, we were sharing an office with 3 other startups, and it was this old and kind of a not too nice area of town, this apartment that we could barely afford, and there were 3 startups working from this apartment with no space whatsoever.
Vous venez d'entendre un extrait de l'épisode que je vais publier dans quelques jours, alors ne restez pas trop loin de votre plateforme de podcast pour pouvoir profiter de tout l'enregistrement.